Dude, follow the stat priorities that we're going to cover for every single champion type inside of Raid that we're going to be covering in this video, and you can have some incredible builds on your champs as long as you're following these two basic rules. And those rules are: Rule 1, don't go putting good gear on crappy champions, or if you do, make sure that you switch it off them again once you're done using Metal Shaper as like a shield bot into Scarab King, right? Got a great speed shield here. This has got to be on one of the fastest champions on our account. Metal Shaper doesn't need to be that guy until you need him in Scarab King for those perma shields. And there are other champions on this account too that kind of have this problem, man. Like Mother Superior, level 40. She's like pretty good perception gear for like a 4 or 5 month old account, as this account is. Next up, percentage stats are always better than flat stats, okay? This means that gloves and chest in particular, these are item pieces where you can roll percentage stats as the main stat on this chest plate. Oh, but Cobb, that's still a pretty good chest plate, man. It's got good crit damage and it's from the Slayer set. It's terrible! Unless this chest plate is pushing our Tholen over the edge into being like 9-piece Slayer, which it isn't because we don't have a Slayer ring on this account, then it's not bloody worth it. In fact, it's so not worth it that I'm gonna do this. Look at this piece of Savage chest plate action right here, okay? It's going to give us over 700 more attack just because it's attack percentage and not flat attack, okay? This is, dude, I'm just going to go ahead. No, I'm not going to make this change just yet. We'll fix the builds in just a minute, okay? But that's just to demonstrate the difference on level 60 champions in particular between a percentage main stat piece and a crappy flat stat piece. And next up, rule number 3 is going to be speed boots on everybody, okay? This is just like a golden rule for like the first 6 to 8 months of your account. Just be putting speed boots on bloody everybody and make sure that your support champions are going to be the fastest champions on your account, and they've got to be a little bit faster than your nukers. What you don't want is stuff like this. No! Flat attack boots on a Geomancer. Oh man, give me frogs, locusts, anything but flat attack boots, man. Before we get into some champion rebuilds on this account, man, and cover every single champion role and how to build them inside of Raid, because we haven't done it for a while on the channel. If you're looking to start off a new Raid account and get off to a fresh start on your own Raid account, man, make sure to get that done right now by clicking on the beginner promo link that is down below this video. By using that link to create a new Raid account on laptop or PC, that is. You're going to get all the free stuff that you see on screen right now. It's crazy as hell, man. Start a legendary champion with Basilius Uranus, 3 free epic champions as you level up your account. Gosh darn to Hanorach for free on day 1 of your new account by entering beginner promo code Desert Queen as soon as you create that new account, and then getting Mikey completely for free as well just by logging into the video game, because that's the world that we live in right now, man. Oh yeah, bonus rule: never take a 4-star artifact up to rank 16. It's so seldom worth it. The stats, even the sub-stats, are just never going to be able to roll as high as they would on a 5-star piece, and yeah. So let's start off then with the meat and potatoes of your account, man. It's going to be your damage dealers and how to build the various types of damage dealer inside of this game, because as luck would have it, on Mr. Gunnerlation's account here, he's actually got all 3 types of, or like the 3 main types of damage dealer built on his account already. He's got Tholen, direct damage dealer. He's got Calvalax, okay, who's a poisoner champion who also deals a whole bunch of direct damage. And so Calvalax kind of falls into the same category of like a ninja, for example, where you're placing HP burns or poisons, but you're also doing a lot of direct damage, even sometimes by just activating those poisons and those HP burns as well. Calvalax, he's just a bunch of direct damage, but he's a poisoner first and foremost, right? And then we've got Geomancer, who's just a pure HP burner. So you got like that, well, just pure HP burner / poisoner type role, where they're not really dealing a whole lot of direct damage, they're mostly just about placing those debuffs. And so let's start with Tholen, the nuker type. What kind of stats do you want to build on your nukers? Well, nukers almost always are relying heavily on just dealing direct damage smacks to the enemy, and so first and foremost, they need 100% crit rate, then as much crit damage as possible. Then they need attack or whatever stat scales their damage. Sometimes you get defense-based nukers. You can click on one of your champion's skills and just look at what it says here, what the damage is based on for their skills. In Tholen's case, it's going to be attack as his 3rd stat. And then stat number 4 is going to be speed, because while you do want your nukers to be the slower champions on your team, you want your debuffers and your buffers to move first, and then your damage dealers to come in and lend their big hits. They still can't be moving as fast as a demented woodlouse with no legs, right? They've still got to be moving, okay? They can't just be squiggling. Squiggling's not going to help anybody. Oh, but Cobb, you missed a stat on the stat priority. I know, right? Accuracy, I'm going to make the exception right now, okay? I'm not even going to mention accuracy in most... Okay, I'll start mentioning accuracy, but accuracy is one of those stats where you need as much accuracy as you need, and then you don't need it anymore, right? How much accuracy do you need on your champions? Well, you need 10 accuracy per dungeon stage that you're clearing. So if you're currently trying to clear Dragon Stage 16 with your Thorlin Foulbeard, and you want to be landing his weakened debuff against the waves of enemies leading up to the boss, you're going to need accuracy for that. Stage 16, you're going to need 160 accuracy. Stage 20, you're going to need 200 accuracy. Just add a 0 to the end of the dungeon stage that you're clearing, and that's going to give you a decent ballpark figure of how much accuracy that you need. And for champs where landing their debuffs are really, really important, accuracy is always going to be stat priority number 1 until they have enough to land those debuffs. Now, back to Nukers. When it comes to Nukers, what kind of sets are good to run on your Nukers? Crit Damage is a great filler set. It's only a 2-piece. It's nice and easy to get this thing working, even in the super early game of your account. Scrolling down a little bit, Savage is great. Any set that allows you to ignore percentage of enemy defense is going to be fantastic. Another quick rule, however, is going to be these 4-piece sets in the super early game. It's going to be tough to get 4 pieces of Savage gear that are actually good to use on one of your champs. Don't just think that because you got like a legendary Savage weapon that it's suddenly going to be good on a champ that you want to use it on, right? This weapon right here, for example, yeah, it can roll into some attack percent and speed, but it's got no crit. It's got no crit damage. Unless it rolls bloody perfectly into like unless it rolls into like triple attack and like a speed roll or something on its way up to rank 16, it's probably going to be bad. And now it's terrible, and this piece is just honestly sell worthy. I won't make the executive decision to do that on this account right now, but not a very good Savage piece, right? Stats over sets, okay? As good as sets can be when you can eventually get them equipped up on your account, don't be afraid of having a champion that's just got like a random piece of Savage gear, 2 pieces of crit damage gear, a random pair of speed gloves that happen to have crit damage as the main stat. As long as you're hitting 100% crit rate and high crit damage on your Nukers, I don't care what items you're having to equip in order to achieve that, just get them equipped, right? Stats over sets in the early game is just a good general rule. Cruel gear is also very good for your Nukers. Fatal is okay as a filler set. It's not really a set that you want to be farming in Doom Tower. Lethal is just a straight massive upgrade. Doom Tower farmable set to Savage. And then you've got the likes of course, the more difficult to get sets like Merciless and Slayer. Slayer is very tough to get. Slayer's a Forge Pass set, you know. You got some more advanced sets that you can dip into a bit later on. But in general, that's how you want to be building your Nukers. Now, when it comes to rebuilding the Thorlin on this account, at least Mr. Gunnerlations understood that his Thorlin is bloody slow. This isn't the build that he's in right now, but this is the build that I'm going to go ahead and switch him over to. A random Savage chestplate that we already talked about. And I'm going to go ahead and steal a ring off of the Geomancer as well, because I believe that was like an attack ring on the Geomancer, which isn't that important for him. And so this is what the new build is going to look like on the Thorlin, where he's going to gain like 600 attack or like 500 attack. He's gaining both HP and defense. He's also gaining in speed as well, and he's only losing like 12% crit damage. It's a very small price to pay for boosting all of his basic stats and making him a little bit faster. And the best part about this as well is that we're not breaking the Slayer set in order to do this as well. It was only, it wasn't even reaching 9-piece, you know what I'm saying? So we lose like 5% speed from the Slayer set, but we make that up from the chest piece that we switched him into anyways, so it's not a big deal. We're still getting good use out of the ignore defense effect from Slayer anyway, and so this Thorlin build is ready to rock and roll. Lovely. He's got himself a Talon as well. Moving on to Calvalax. Again, Calvalax is going to be in a burn activator type build where while he does deal a bunch of direct damage, he's more looking to kind of smack, right? He's not a burn activator, he's not a poison activator, of course, but he can be put in like a similar build to what you would see a ninja in. The stat priority on a champion like this is going to actually look like accuracy first, of course, as much as you need, then speed, okay, then crit damage, and then attack. And honestly, even the attack is a little bit debatable, and it's not uncommon to see these champions built in, for example, like a defense percentage or an HP percentage chestplate, just to tank them up a little bit more, and have them running in something like crit percent gauntlets, and saving your best crit damage gauntlets for stuff like your out-and-out nukers, you know, which Calvalax in this case is not. Having him move faster is just better. Sets that are going to be bloody good on your burn activators and poison activators, or champions like Calvalax that are kind of just like a mix of nuker and just poison applicator, are going to be, I guess speed can work in a pinch because speed is such a high priority stat, but ideally, you know, crit damage can also work as well just because it's like a nice and easy filler set. Relentless can be great for just getting extra turns in and therefore just getting more poisons off, and potentially poison activations, if it's a poison activator that we're talking about, can work just great. Likewise, the likes of a reflex set can work great as well on a lot of poison and burn activators. Not so much though for Calvalax. I mean, it would be okay, but not the greatest. Cruel is a decent filler set as well. I'm looking for perception though. There it is, man. Accuracy and speed gives you everything you need. Of course, you're looking for like crit rate rolls. I just rhymed that accidentally. I know, I had to call it out, man. We've got some perception action with like crit rate rolls and attack percent and stuff. Perception gear can be just fine as well on the likes of a Calvi. Going out and out with like a lethal set on a champion like this, it can work. Again, it's just usually the case that you want to get like your lethal sets and your savage sets and stuff and like your best nuker gear, out and out nuker gear on your best nuker champions, and it's so seldom going to be like your burn activators and champions like Calvi. The build that we're going to be going ahead and switching Calvalax into, I forgot to save earlier on. Well, ballsack. I guess I'm rebuilding it. Oh my god. How are we not using this weapon, man? Gunnerlations. Look at this. I mean, it's a cruel weapon. Like, we need crit rate and attack percent and crit damage on a cruel weapon for it to be good. Like, generally speaking, these are just very, very good stats for this. We even invested glyphs into it, and we're not using it? Bro! Ooh, and another set that I actually forgot to call out as well for your burn activators and champions like Calvi is, of course, going to be feral gear, which we're going to slam him in some of these feral pieces right now. I do actually have a screenshot of the build that I made earlier on the other screen, which just by luck I just have it open in like in the link. But yeah, feral is also a very, very good set as well for your debuffers in general. Accuracy, speed, all of that good stuff. Yeah, I'm also noticing in our old Calvalax build right now, we've got like 55% crit rate, but 126% crit damage, which is not really ideal. You need 100% crit rate to make your crit damage actually worth a damn, and so yeah, that's not super lovely. Let's go ahead and get him moving faster with this helmet. And so now this is going to be much, much more like it. Let's go ahead and roll these gloves up to max as well. They go to crit damage again, which is just bloody lovely. And after rolling those gloves up, we get them up to 96% crit rate, which is just fine. Not perfect, but it's okay. The crit damage is going to suffer a little bit, but again, that's fine. We're also going to have him moving much, when you consider that we haven't actually glyphed any of this speed gear, and he wasn't glyphed, some like glyphed speed gear before this, we're going to be able to bump his speed up to like, what, 210, 215? Without too much effort, man, with just a whole bunch of speed glyphs. And we have a little bit of a lacking of accessories that are good on this account as well. So we're lacking like speed rolls on the banner and stuff. But overall, he's going to gain some HP. His attack's going to stay about the same. His defense will be about the same after we roll up the shield as well. Crit rate looks good. And overall, very, very happy with the rebuild on Calvalax. Next event that brings us to our flat out HP burner champion, where we got a Geo equipped in a golden elixir, which I guess is okay. And we did actually steal the Geomancer's ring as well just now to throw on one of our other guys. So when it comes to your pure HP burner champions, these are champions like Geomancer, like Mordecai, really is focusing on placing those HP burn and potentially poison debuffs on as many people as possible, and they're not really about landing that direct damage. Going to be very, very similar, of course, to our burn activator stat priority list. It's just going to be accuracy, speed, and then honestly, HP and like defense percent are probably better than going attack on these guys, because you're not building with crit rate anyway. You don't care so much about their direct damage. It's better to have like a tanky Geomancer instead of a Geomancer that's built in like attack percentage chestplate and stuff like that, you know, and certainly not flat attack boots. When it comes to your burners, the items and the sets that you're looking out for are going to be things like, again, perception is going to be just fine. Feral, of course, is going to be great if you can get your hands on that. Pinpoint as filler sets are going to be fine as well. This is the same for your burn activators, but it's good on your HP burn and poison champions as well. Accuracy is going to be solid if you're like in the very, very much in the early game and you're struggling to get your hands on. Accuracy and speed can be okay as well. For the Geomancer rebuild on this account, yes, I did remember to save it. We're going to be pulling a whole bunch of gear, dude, off of a bunch of random level 40 rare champions that for some reason on Gunnerlations account have been afforded some of the better gear on this account, man, which is a little bit crazy. Now, we're actually leaning into a resilience set on our Geo here, which is a little bit unorthodox, a little bit weird, but, you know, it gives some HP percent, it gives some defense percent. It's fine. He's also plenty fast enough already. We're going to be bumping up his speed from 139 to 204, and so his speed is going to go through the roof. He's still got plenty of accuracy, as much accuracy as he needs to do what he needs to do. He's going to gain defense, he's going to gain HP. Why is his crit damage still so high? Is he in a crit damage amulet or something? I don't know how his crit damage is 112. Where's that even coming from, man? And honestly, his attack is pretty high too, even though he's in like HP percent defense percent now on the chest plate. I don't know where that's coming. We do pink stat into attack here on the boots, but whatever, man. Either way, this is a massively improved Geomancer build, and he's going to be popping off in it. Next champion role we're going to touch on. This is lovely, man. They're all going in order. Is going to be your speed booster champions, right? This is not to be confused with champions that bring speed boost plus something else, right? We talk about like building the fastest champions on your account so that they can move first on your team and either boost your 10 meter and or apply increased speed buffs. I gotta say, if we had the Haikatoon on this account as like our speed aura lead and like one of our speed boosters, and she was level 60 on this account, I'd definitely be building her as the fastest champion on the account instead of the Tagore. Okay, I'm just working with what I've got here. Haikatoon is a better champion to build as the fastest champion on your account. Why? Because she brings the speed aura in all battles, which you can use this in arena to make sure that your team goes first. You can use this in basically all dungeons to make sure that your team's just moving faster than the boss and stuff like that. And she also brings 10 meter boost as well as increased speed on her A2. So she's just a better candidate for this job. That said, there are some champions in this game, like a Tagore, that don't require accuracy at all, whereas Haikatoon does require accuracy. So, and good old Udex Ato is a good example of this as well, right? He brings a speed aura in arena, and he brings a big old bunch of 10 meter boost on his A2, and he doesn't need accuracy for anything in his kit. He doesn't land any debuffs or decrease enemy 10 meter or anything like that. So we're talking about a pure support type champion here that's just boosting your speed up, man. Stat priorities on these guys, you can forget all about accuracy. That's the best part about champions like this, right? Accuracy goes out the window. Stat priority number 1 is going to be speed, and then HP or defense percentage. That's it. Nice and simple, you know, nice and simple. Now, one thing you do want to pay attention to is if you've got a champion like a Tagore and you click on one of their skills, you'll see that Tagore has an attack all enemies, places increased speed, then he heals all allies by 15% of Tagore's max HP. And so that can make building HP ahead of defense percent a little bit more viable, right? You're trying to build more health on champions like this to increase the healing that they do. Rector Drath is another example of a champion like this, right? She heals all allies by 20% of Rector Drath's max HP. And so it just makes HP percent a bit more valuable. You know what I'm saying? But the stat priorities for a champion like Tagore are going to be very simple. Tagore is a reviver as well, by the way, and I'm not ignoring that. I'm just going to go ahead and class revivers as a different champion type. And again, I'm just going to build Tagore to be the fastest champion on this account because I think that that's the role that's going to serve him best on this account. Revivers we'll get to in just a little bit, man. Tagore's rebuild, after we actually just cover the fact that obviously on champions like this, best set that you're ever going to be looking for is just going to be speed gear. If you do need accuracy as well on your 10 meter booster and speed booster champions, then perception is also going to be a great set to kind of weave on in there. But good old classic speed set is going to do just fine with plenty of speed rolls. Again, you want this champion to be the fastest champion on your teams, right? So the Tagore's rebuild is going to look a little bit something like this, man, and I'm very proud of this one because he's gone from 154 speed to 262 speed. He's gonna be flying, man. His health and defense go down by a little bit, but honestly, we just need to roll these gear pieces up and it'll be fine. To be honest, you might as well just get this maxed up like, protection neck piece on him as well to actually get his HP up a little bit further. His defense is a bit low. Ideally, we could switch out this ring with like a defense main stat, defense percent substat ring, but I've got 2 pieces of chronophage on just to give him the 10% extra speed from that as well. Whoops, I just closed the full bloody thing because I'm a highly evolved mammal, so let's go ahead and pull that back on up. This is going to be the Tagore rebuild. He's just going to be a hell of a lot faster now, which means more healing, more increased speed buffs, more shields coming in from his A3 as well, because on a very long cooldown, because it is the revive skill at the same time. But that's how we're going to be building the Taggy in this case. Next role, man, is going to be, well, every other support type champion, buffer or debuffer type champion, that also needs a bit of accuracy, right? For this account, it might eventually be like the Haikatoon. It's certainly going to be the likes of the Ugo, right? Again, these champions don't need to be the fastest champion on your team, but they need to be faster than your damage dealer, so they're applying things like decreased defense, in the Ugo's case, before your Nukers then attack in, so you're really amplifying their damage in like the perfect order, you know? Stat priority for these guys is going to be accuracy, then speed, then HP percent and defense percent. And the best gear sets for these guys are once again going to be speed with like speed and accuracy rolls if you can. Good old perception gear is still going to be absolutely clutch, and make sure that you take a part in siege, gosh darn it, because feral gear is going to be absolutely excellent for champion types like this as well as pinpoint being very, very good. Basically anything that gives speed or accuracy, it's the only things that you care about. As for the Ugo's rebuild, please tell me I remembered. Okay, good stuff. I did remember to build this one out. Very, very nice, man. So we're going to switch over a bunch of the Ugo's accessories into pinpoint accessories to just cash in on all of that set bonus action coming in from pinpoint gear, which is just accuracy and speed from accessories. Make sure you're farming the event dungeon, guys. Even chronophage gear gives a 2-piece speed bonus, and so it's well bloody worth farming, even if you don't plan on using it in PvP or whatever. Not a big deal. Just use a couple pieces for the speed bonus, you know. And yeah, we're just going to be mixing up the Ugo's build with a mixture of speed gear, perception gear, and a random couple pieces of defiant gear, which give defense percent and minus damage taken from AoE hits, just because it's got good speed rolls on them. And that's just where this account is right now. You know, it's a 4 or 5 month old account. It doesn't have the best gear in the world on it, but overall the Ugo's gonna hit, HP is gonna stay about the same, defense is gonna go up pretty drastically, and the speed is gonna go up very, very drastically as well, which is just lovely. Oh, and the accuracy is also gonna get a small bump as well, and so the Ugo's rebuild looking very bloody good. Now, the next role that we're going to cover is going to be your Reviver champions, which I could build the Takeover in this gear set, by the way, and it would do just fine. Again, he's the only increased speed champion that's level 60. That's the only reason I'm building him as the speed booster. We could honestly port the Takeover's build onto Haikatoon if we eventually decide to take her up to 60 as well and get her fully booked and want to start using the Haikatoon as the speed booster. We could just completely switch the builds, and she'd perform pretty great in this build as well. Ideally, she doesn't need the immortal pieces and stuff. She could be faster, you know. Whatever, doesn't matter. The example we're going to use, man, for the Reviver champion is going to be Rector Drath, but this exact same build type that you can use on Revivers is also very, very good on the likes of Taragi as well. Revivers and ally protection champions, right? Revivers, they can only do their job and revive people on your team if they're the last champion alive. If they're dead, they're not reviving anybody, right? So they've got to be a little bit extra tanky. Same thing with your ally protection champions as well. Ally protectors, well, they're going to be soaking up a lot of damage for your team, right? They soak up a lot of damage that would otherwise be smacking the other champions on your team, and it redirects the damage to your ally protectors. So they've got to be extra tanky. And while this doesn't make a massive difference to the stat priority for your ally protectors and your revivers, what it does do is change the kind of sets you want to think about putting these guys in, right? Right now we've got Rector Drath in all kinds of speed gear, which is kind of ironic because she's very bloody slow, which I absolutely love. But yeah, the Rector Drath Reviver type champion, she does require accuracy. A lot of ally protectors in the game as well, like Taragi, do require accuracy also. She requires accuracy for a 1 skill, so you've got to bear that in mind. And the stat priority is generally going to look like accuracy if they need it, then speed, then HP percent and defense percent, with just more focus on HP and defense percent. They're still going to have decent speeds. You don't want them to be moving slow as hell. At the end of the day, you still want your Rector Drath to be getting off a heal quite often on a A2, or in Taragi's case, he still needs decent uptime on his shields and his ally protection buffs coming in from his A3 skill, so they're still going to be moving decently fast, but with just more of a focus on survival than anything. So in the case of the Rector Drath, I did rebuild the Rector Drath, right? Okay, good, I did. Oh my god. Once again, very, very similar to one of the builds that we've seen already. We're going to be working a Defiant set into this as well, right? Again, it's that plus defense and minus damage taken from enemy AoE attacks. I just realized I didn't actually cover the builds. Did I? I didn't cover like the recommended sets for your revivers and your ally protectors. Well, Defiant is one of them, okay? Defiant is one of them. We'll get to that in just a sec, man. I've messed up the order. Whatever, doesn't matter, man. Going to be gaining all kinds of defense, losing a bit of HP. That's fine. We've got pieces of gear here that we need to roll up to 16 anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Speed is going to go up by a little bit. Again, decently fast, given that these boots aren't rank 16 yet either. The accuracy is a situation that we just can't fix yet until the Rector Drath is level 60 and can get an accuracy banner. Ideally with like speed and HP percent substat rolls would be great. But this is what the rebuild is going to look like on the Rector. We're going to go ahead and slam that on. Now, when it comes to this champion type, Perception Gear's still always going to be a very, very good option if they do require accuracy. But besides that, we're looking at Resilience can be a decent little filler set for champions like this. I wouldn't say go like 4 or 6 piece Resilience, but a couple pieces can be just fine. Immortal Gear's very, very good as a filler set. All kinds of HP percent and a little bit of healing popping up on that champion every single time they get a turn can be really quite good. There are even some ally protection champions that take so much bloody damage. I'm thinking of like a rearguard sergeant, for example, where it can actually be worthwhile putting them in regeneration gear, you know. Little bit more edge case scenario there, but generally immortal gear, perception gear, that kind of thing, is going to be best for your revivers and your ally protectors. Now, there are two other niche roles that I'm going to touch on very, very briefly that you can look to build out in the future on your account, but as a beginner player, they're not mega useful to build out like super quickly or anything like that. One of them is a champion like Bivald of the Thorn, who's a decent champion into Hydra, and Hydra is a very, very interesting game mode because it's one of the first game modes that you're going to come across where you run into the power of high resistance champion builds on champions like Bivald, right? So Bivald brings strengthened buff, he places leech debuff on enemies, he places some shielding on all of your allies as well. Most importantly though, he places provoke on the Head of Decay into Hydra, which is a very, very important mechanic that you kind of got to engage with. If you're not provoking the Head of Decay, you're probably going to run into trouble in Hydra, and so Bivald does that job. He does that job pretty well. However, what you might notice is that his strengthened buff only gets applied to himself, right? It places a strengthened buff on this champion for 2 turns. What does that mean and why is that important? Well, if you've got any champion that's powerful into Hydra that brings self buffs like a Bivald, it's usually going to be like a Provoker champion or some other kind of support champion that brings a self buff like this. What that's going to do is cause the Head of Mischief into Hydra to always attack that champion. It always prefers to attack the champion who has the most buffs on your team. It attempts to steal those buffs. It will steal half of the champion's turn meter, and then that's really, really bad if that happens because once it's stolen your buffs, it attempts to then spread all of those buffs to all of your Hydra heads, which can be game over very, very quickly. Now, there are ways to get around that. You can just place a block buffs debuff against all of our Hydra heads, and it will just fail to steal your buffs because it's got a block buffs debuff, you know, it can't do it. But something else you can do to further advance your Hydra team is build Bivald with like good accuracy, good speed, all the things that you still need on a champion, but build him with like 300 or 400 resistance as well on top of that, with the use of like a resistance banner, maybe a resistance chestplate, and make it so that he has enough resistance to resist the Head of Decay's attempt to steal the buffs off of the Bivald. And what that actually does is make it so that the Head of Mischief will do nothing but attack into your Bivald over and over and over, attempting to steal the buffs, attempting to steal his turn meter, failing every time, and so the Head of Mischief never gets to attack anybody else on your Hydra team and steal their buffs as well, because it's just focused on wasting its time against the Bivald, right? That's the concept of building a Mischief Tank, which I wish somebody had explained to me when I was new to the game as well. I heard people talking about Mischief Tank. I was like, what the hell are people talking about? That's what they're talking about when they talk about a Mischief Tank into Hydra. Another champion type that you can look to build, I'm going to go ahead and use Taragi for this example. It is the solo champion build. Certain champions in this game, like Mesiliac, Priest, Ornn, Attack, you know, just to name a couple, where you can build these champions to just solo certain dungeons, or in the case of Taragi the Frog, to solo the likes of Scarab King inside of Doom Tower. He does this by just surviving against the boss. He doesn't care if he gets provoked by the boss and all the things that Scarab King is throwing at a Taragi, because he places poisons on his passive. So all he's got to do is live against Scarab King and let his poisons do the work. Okay, so when you're building a solo type champion like this, they generally need enough accuracy to land their debuffs, and then you're going to be building them in a set that looks a little bit something like this, right? You don't have to leave them in this gear all the time. You might want to use Taragi in Perception gear for things like Faction Wars and stuff like that, but if you're looking to use Taragi to solo Scarab King, have a gear set like this saved. Regeneration gear, Immortal gear, and it's just as much defense percent and HP percent, especially HP percent, as you can possibly get on the champion, and then decent speeds, so they're taking plenty of turns in their regeneration gear, and they're getting that heal, right? Regeneration gear heals by 15% every turn, so the more turns that you're taking, the more heals that you're going to get. This isn't a particularly good collection of regeneration and immortal gear that we've got the Taragi in right now. That said, it does look like Gunnerlations is actually stuck against the very first stage of Scarab King in Doom Tower, which is not uncommon at all. Everybody gets stuck on this as a new player for the very first time. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw Taragi into this, even as a level 50, and just see if he can actually do it, man. He might be able to pull this off, you know. Let's throw him into this gear just now. I'm going to go ahead and roll some of these pieces up just a little bit, because again, he is only level 15. He's just a baby. I could go ahead and throw like relics on him and stuff like that as well to try and pull this off, but You know what, man? For now, let's just go ahead and throw him on in. I'm just going to put Thorlin on this team. Throw Thorlin at this. Thorlin's just going to kill off the waves and just get us to the boss. And then let's see if Taragi can actually do this. I'm not confident that he can in this current gear build. He doesn't have masteries. He's only level 50. The gear is not level 16. The gear is not very good. There's like a lot of reasons why this shouldn't work, but maybe he might just have enough in the tank here to actually pull this off against the lower stage of Scarab. We actually need the Thorlin to die sooner rather than it, because the Thorlin's triggering a lot of counterattacks here. But just look at the poisons that the Taragi is getting placed on the Scarab, by the way. Like, I know this is the easiest difficulty of Scarab, but this is just like proof of concept kind of situation here. Ideally, the Thorlin would die, like, real quick, because the Thorlin's a little bit of a problem for us here. He's triggering so many counterattacks from the boss that he's actually going to get the Taragi killed, because the Taragi isn't going very fast. It's only like a 160 speed Taragi. Looks like the Thorlin's actually just going to brute force his way through most of this, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, that's how you can build a solo champion like a Taragi or like a Mithrala, a champion that brings like a poison or an HP bend on their A1 skill. They can solo the crap out of really problematic bosses like Scarab, so that's another way that you can consider rebuilding some of your champs. But alright, man, this video's been long as hell, so I'm going to leave it here. There you have it, man, Mr. Gunnerlations. I'm going to go through some of the champions whose builds I ruined on this account, because there are a few of them that I should go ahead and rebuild before I leave this account, man. And I'll get to that off camera real quick. Thanks for stopping by. Hope this video helped some of yours out as just like a refresher on how to build every champion type inside a raid. Hope to help out some new players that were watching. And most importantly, I hope that this is going to be taking Gunnerlations' account to the next level, because I think we made some massive upgrades in this one, boys. Thanks for stopping by. If you're looking to create a new raid account, get that done right now by using the beginner promo link that is down below this video at the top of the ghost and description box to create a new account, and for all of the free stuff that you see on screen right now. I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.